Two and a Half Men premiered in 2003 and quickly became one of the most talked about sitcoms of its time, known for its sharp humor, memorable characters, and star-studded cast. But behind the laughter and fame lies a more somber reality. Several actors who helped shape the success of the show have sadly passed away. In this video, we take a heartfelt look back at the lives and careers of these talented individuals, reflecting on the roles they played and the tragic circumstances of their deaths. From sudden health issues to unexpected accidents, their stories remind us that even those who make us laugh the most can face unimaginable struggles. Konads Burda was born on March 28, 1943, and played Burda in 2003 at the age of 60. Burda was more than a housekeeper, she was the show's spine, calling out the male leads on their immaturity with acerbic wit and working-class wisdom. But behind the scenes, Burda fought battles of a different kind. Though she had a solid career in theater and television, Hollywood never truly gave her the spotlight she deserved. She privately struggled with being perpetually cast as the brash, overweight side character, role she later admitted left her feeling invisible in an industry obsessed with glamour. Though beloved on set, there were whispers of her occasional bitterness at not receiving Emmy recognition, despite carrying many scenes with her deadpan brilliance. Her health had long been a quiet battle, with rumors of diabetes and obesity-related complications that were never publicly acknowledged until her hospitalization in 2020. She died on October 12, 2020, at age 77, from complications following cardiac arrest. Carl Reiner was born on March 20, 1922, and took the role of Marty Pepper in 2009 at age 87. Marty was a cheeky octogenarian who charmed Evelyn Harper with his wit and vigor, a mirror of Reiner's own public image. But even legends carry secrets. While Reiner was a towering figure in comedy, his perfectionism made him a daunting collaborator. His early years in television were marked by whispered feuds with writers who felt suffocated under his control. Though married for 64 years, those close to him alleged a long estrangement from one of his children, rooted in political and ideological disagreements. As Reiner aged, his activism took center stage, and he was both celebrated and criticized for his blistering critiques of conservative figures, earning him a reputation among some studios as too loud, too left. Behind the humor, friends say he harbored private guilt over career decisions that sacrificed family for legacy. He died on June 29, 2020, at age 98 from natural causes, surrounded by books, scripts, and unresolved tensions. Martin Mull was born on August 18, 1943, and appeared as Russell in 2008 at age 65. On screen, Russell was sleazy, loud, and borderline predatory, a comic exaggeration that wasn't far removed from the man behind the character. Mull's early career was riddled with controversy. His stand-up routines in the 1970s frequently pushed boundaries, dabbling in race, sex, and politics with a cynicism that often backfired. A sharp mind with a painter's soul, he constantly toggled between being seen as an intellectual rebel and a smug provocateur. Mull was known to be difficult in writers' rooms, sometimes deriding younger colleagues with biting sarcasm. Off-screen, his personal life was a chaotic gallery of broken relationships, including a scandalous affair in the early 90s with a much younger assistant that quietly ended his first marriage. Rumors of substance use circled during his art show years, though nothing was ever confirmed. Despite these shadows, he remained a cult figure in alt-comedy circles. He died on June 27, 2024, at age 80, after a long, undisclosed illness. John Amos was born on December 27, 1939, and portrayed Ed in 2010 at age 71. Ed's intimidating, no-nonsense persona mirrored Amos's real-life reputation, respected, but feared. His career was repeatedly stymied by behind-the-scenes clashes, particularly on Good Times, where he was fired for challenging writers on racial stereotypes. That same fiery stance earned him admiration but also a label as difficult, which haunted him throughout Hollywood. His marriage fell apart in the 90s, and friends whispered of estrangement from one of his sons after a bitter legal dispute over money. A failed business venture in the early 2000s left him nearly bankrupt, forcing him to take minor TV roles to stay afloat. In his later years, Amos struggled with health issues that were kept quiet, but also with bitterness toward an industry that he believed never truly respected him as more than a token. He died on August 21, 2024, at age 84 due to congestive heart failure, still defiant to the end. Michael Clark Duncan was born on December 10, 1957, and joined 2.5 Men in 2008 at age 51. As Jerome Burnett, he was a lovable giant, but off-screen, Duncan's life wasn't always so warm. His early years were marked by poverty and violence in South Side Chicago, a history he rarely discussed. Fame brought new demons. His romance with reality star Omarosa was a tabloid spectacle, full of rumors of control and manipulation on both sides. Friends expressed concern over how drastically his personality shifted under her influence. Insiders claimed he alienated several longtime friends during that relationship, with whispers of emotional strain and a private engagement that never felt genuine. Though admired for his kindness, he was known to hold grudges, and some co-stars described him as either all-in or ice-cold. After his 2012 heart attack, there were suspicions he'd ignored early warning signs due to a toxic mix of pride and career pressure. He died on September 3, 2012, at age 54 from respiratory failure, leaving behind whispers of what might have been, and what went unsaid. Chloris Leechman, born April 30, 1926, appeared as Norma in 2005 at age 79, bringing a manic, inappropriate flair to the show that mirrored her off-screen unpredictability. Norma was wild, shameless, and irresistible, a role Chloris relished. But behind her legendary comedic timing was a chaotic life marked by controversial behavior. She clashed frequently with directors for being impossible to direct and was accused of humiliating younger actresses on set. Her decades-long marriage to director George Engel was riddled with infidelity, and the open nature of their relationship sparked rumors of unconventional liaisons. Leechman's tell-all autobiography revealed decades of dysfunction, resentment, addiction, and a bitter rivalry with other female stars. Her son Brian died tragically in 1986, and Chloris reportedly never recovered from the grief. She shocked many with vulgar talk show appearances late in life, delighting in crude humor that offended just as much as it entertained. Chloris Leechman died on January 27, 2021, at 94 from complications of a stroke, with COVID-19 listed as a contributing factor. Georgia Engel, born on July 28, 1948, played Jean in 2.5 Men in 2012 at age 64. Jean was a sweet, soft-spoken character, seemingly dropped into the show from another, gentler universe, a portrayal that subtly mocked the show's sleazy tone. But behind Engel's angelic on-screen persona lay a private life wrapped in secrecy and spiritual absolutes. A devout Christian Scientist, Engel reportedly refused conventional medical care, even in the face of serious illness. She never married, never publicly acknowledged any romantic relationships, and lived a life so cloaked in privacy that even close colleagues admitted they never really knew her. Rumors of reclusive habits, years without a phone, avoidance of doctors, and an almost monastic lifestyle fueled speculation after her death. Engel passed away on April 12, 2019, at 70. Her cause of death was never disclosed, honoring her faith but also deepening the mystery. To this day, whispers about untreated illness and what she may have silently endured remain part of the quiet, tragic enigma of Georgia Engel. Richard Lewis, born June 29, 1947, joined 2.5 Men in 2004 as Stan at age 57, playing a jittery, neurotic man who embodied Lewis's famously tortured style. But Richard's comedy wasn't just an act, it was survival. For decades, Lewis battled a vicious alcohol and drug addiction, often performing high on painkillers and vodka. He alienated friends, wrecked relationships, and once checked into rehab under a pseudonym to avoid press attention. He was plagued by severe depression, sometimes disappearing for weeks during the 80s. Lewis's romantic life was equally chaotic. He dated several high-profile actresses, but his inability to commit and emotional volatility left him lonely and regretful. He later admitted to sabotaging every good thing in his life. By the 2000s, Parkinson's disease began taking its toll, though he continued to work, hiding his tremors on stage. Despite his raw honesty, Lewis was notorious for backstage meltdowns, obsessive perfectionism, and alienating producers. He died on February 27, 2024, at age 76 from cardiopulmonary arrest, with Parkinson's as a contributing factor. George Coe, born May 10, 1929, appeared in 2.5 Men in 2013 as Victor at age 84. The character was dry-witted and refined, everything the show's other men weren't. Off-screen, Coe's reputation was more complicated than his dignified image suggested. As an original Saturday Night Live cast member, he was reportedly pushed out after just one episode, rumored to have clashed with producers over the show's direction. Despite decades in film and television, Coe never escaped the feeling of being a Hollywood outsider. He lived alone for much of his life, reportedly estranged from family, and quietly struggled with depression. Industry insiders described him as impeccable on set but emotionally distant. Coe avoided interviews, dodged red carpets, and was labeled the most invisible star in Hollywood. Allegations of being difficult to cast due to attitude problems followed him into the 1990s. He passed away after a long illness on July 18, 2015, at the age of 86. His death marked the quiet end of a career shadowed by what-ifs and nearlies. Orson Bean, born on July 22, 1928, played the role of Norman in 2.5 Men in 2004 at the age of 76. Norman was a quirky, charming elder whose eccentric wisdom clashed humorously with the show's younger chaos. But behind Bean's lovable facade was a labyrinthine past few dared to unpack. A fixture of mid-century TV, he suffered career setbacks due to his outspokenness, blacklisted in the 50s for alleged communist ties, though he later veered sharply right politically. His marriage to actress Allie Mills was his second. His first, to actress Jacqueline de Cibour, ended messily amid rumors of infidelity and mental instability. Bean often battled depression and admitted in interviews to struggles with addiction to prescription drugs during his darkest career lulls. His whimsical persona masked a man who lost a child to suicide, a tragedy he rarely discussed publicly. Despite being hailed as a raconteur, he had a reputation among some colleagues as manipulative, known for undercutting directors with off-script ad-libs. On February 7, 2020, Orson Bean was fatally struck by a car in Venice, California, at age 91. Terry Rhodes, born December 31, 1951, played Dr. Andrew Spurlock in 2004 at age 53, a blink-and-you-miss-it role, yet his off-screen story was far from forgettable. Behind the scenes, Rhodes battled demons few ever knew. Though he appeared in dozens of shows, he never broke into stardom, a source of quiet bitterness. Friends reported mood swings, long periods of isolation, and sudden disappearances from set. In his personal life, his marriage collapsed in the early 2000s, reportedly due to infidelity and substance abuse issues. His relationship with his son was strained, and some colleagues recalled Rhodes drowning in loneliness. Industry whispers suggested he sabotaged auditions through erratic behavior, possibly fueled by undiagnosed mental health issues. Later diagnosed with amyloidosis, a rare and painful disease, Rhodes refused public attention. He died on October 11, 2013, at age 61. Though tributes painted a picture of quiet professionalism, the truth behind Terry Rhodes' life was far more tragic, a gifted actor buried beneath layers of obscurity and unresolved turmoil. Suzanne Wang, born September 28, 1962, took on a small yet memorable role as an anesthesiologist in 2.5 Men in 2005 at age 43. Her character was calm and collected, but Suzanne's personal life bore the weight of far more turbulence. Despite her success as host of House Hunters, her career was stifled behind the scenes. Network executives allegedly sidelined her due to her Korean heritage and refusal to play the stereotype. Behind her sunny on-screen image was a woman scarred by failed relationships, including a marriage that dissolved in public amid allegations of emotional abuse. Suzanne, known for her biting stand-up comedy, often used her performances to vent personal anguish, including a candid monologue about surviving sexual assault in Hollywood that was considered too raw for TV. Diagnosed with breast cancer in 2006, she battled it with defiant humor, often clashing with doctors over treatment choices. Her final years were marked by quiet estrangement from former collaborators. Suzanne Wang died from cancer on September 17, 2019, at age 56. John Pledo, born December 29, 1950, took on the role of Mr. Sharipa in 2.5 Men in 2008 at age 58, giving the character a menacing edge laced with sarcasm. Known for playing shady, volatile men, Pledo was no stranger to friction off-camera. His falling out with the Coen brothers, who helped launch his career, was the result of a bitter dispute over casting in The Big Lebowski, a grudge he aired publicly. Despite critical acclaim, he often found himself blacklisted for being outspoken, especially when calling out perceived injustices in casting decisions. He lived openly as a gay man in an industry that still trafficked in coded silence, and his partnership with actor Daryl Armbruster endured, but not without struggle, especially during Pledo's long health decline. He battled obesity, respiratory issues, and cancer with a defiant attitude, often refusing treatment. John's volatile temper on set led to frequent recasting, and producers labeled him unpredictable. He died from cancer complications on September 1, 2016, at age 65. Mike Connors, born August 15, 1925, appeared as Hugo in 2.5 Men in 2007 at age 82, bringing his trademark stoicism and gravitas. While Hugo exuded control and masculinity, Connors' own life was riddled with personal contradictions. He rose to fame with Mannix, but after the series ended, his career waned. He struggled with alcoholism and an explosive temper that led to altercations on set. Though he cultivated a clean public image, his private life was anything but serene. He fathered a son with schizophrenia, whom he rarely spoke about, and reportedly used his influence to suppress media coverage of the family's struggles. His 67-year marriage to Mary Lou Wiley endured, but insiders whispered of long stretches spent apart in his extramarital affairs, including a rumored liaison with a co-star decades his junior. Connors' stubborn pride made him difficult to work with in his later years, leading to his exclusion from several planned revivals. Mike Connors died of leukemia on January 26, 2017, at the age of 91. Tanita Castro, born January 15, 1953, played Esmeralda in 2.5 Men in 2010 at age 57. She brought warmth and sass to the role, but behind her beaming smile was a relentless uphill climb. Castro emigrated from Mexico to the U.S. late in life, breaking into Hollywood only in her 50s. Decades of rejection left her bitter about the industry's treatment of Latina actresses. She reportedly clashed with producers who typecast her as the maid, yet she kept accepting such roles out of financial desperation. While she was beloved by co-stars, some insiders noted her obsessive need to control her scenes and occasional on-set tirades when she felt disrespected. She never married, and whispers in the industry hinted at a long, toxic relationship with a married producer who promised her bigger roles but never delivered. Privately, she struggled with diabetes and stomach cancer, hiding her condition until it was terminal. Tanita Castro died on May 8, 2016, at the age of 63 from stomach cancer. Harry Dean Stanton, born July 14, 1926, played himself in 2.5 Men in 2004 at the age of 78, lending his trademark cryptic energy to an oddball cameo. In real life, Stanton was the quintessential Hollywood enigma, a man who drank with Hunter S. Thompson, jammed with Bob Dylan, and refused to explain anything. He often called acting bullshit and saw fame as a trap, yet he was drawn to its darker corners. Stanton lived in hotels, seduced younger women deep into his 70s, and maintained emotionally distant friendships with everyone, from Jack Nicholson to Debbie Harry. Though he avoided the limelight, whispers surrounded his lifelong avoidance of commitment and rumored fatherhood he never acknowledged. He had a habit of vanishing for weeks without notice, feeding the myth of a man no one truly knew. Despite the reverence, Harry Dean's final years were lonely and alcohol-scarred. He died on September 15, 2017, at the age of 91 from natural causes. Willie Garson was born on February 20, 1964, and appeared as Dr. Staven in 2.5 Men in 2013 at the age of 49. His character was a neurotic oddball, injecting a dose of nervous energy into the show's chaotic dynamic. Behind the camera, Garson was celebrated for his roles in Sex and the City and White Collar, but his professional success masked a turbulent personal reality. Though publicly portrayed as scandal-free, insiders whispered of his desperate need for relevance in his later years, leading to uncomfortable audition room meltdowns and clashes with casting directors. He was a single father, adopting a son in 2009, but the emotional toll of balancing parenthood with a fading career weighed heavily. Quietly battling health issues, he kept his diagnosis secret from most of Hollywood, creating tension and confusion on set when he would suddenly vanish for days. His quirky charm hid a man deeply afraid of being forgotten. Willie Garson died on September 21, 2021, at age 57 from pancreatic cancer. Tim Conway was born on December 15, 1933, and guest starred in 2.5 Men in 2014 at the age of 81, playing a mischievous, childlike character that mirrored his offbeat persona. While adored for his work on The Carol Burnett Show, Conway's personal life was marred by financial missteps and bitter family drama. His later years were consumed by a brutal legal battle between his wife and daughter over conservatorship, casting a dark shadow over his legacy. Behind his comedic genius lurked a man often plagued by self-doubt and haunted by the failure of multiple short-lived projects, which he privately blamed on backstabbing industry politics. Known to alienate co-stars with obsessive improvisation, Conway's genius came at a cost. He could be controlling, manipulative, and dismissive of younger talent. Though he remained publicly charming, his decline was marked by cognitive deterioration and isolation. Tim Conway died on May 14, 2019, at the age of 85 due to complications from hydrocephalus. Diane Delano, born January 29, 1957, stepped into 2.5 Men in 2006 as the prison matron at age 49, commanding the screen with her signature steel-eyed dominance. Off-screen, Diane was every bit as forceful, a vocal activist for LGBTQ+ rights and unafraid to call out sexism in Hollywood. But behind that bravado lay a lifetime of inner warfare. A string of failed relationships, including one abusive partner, left her emotionally scarred, while her refusal to conform to Hollywood's beauty standards closed doors that should have opened. Known to be confrontational during production, she clashed with producers and stormed off sets over creative disagreements. She battled chronic pain for years, fueling rumors of prescription drug dependence, which she never publicly addressed. Despite her tough image, she died in solitude, estranged from parts of her family. Diane Delano passed away on December 13, 2024, at age 67 after a battle with cancer. James Earl Jones, born on January 17, 1931, made a surreal cameo in 2.5 Men in 2008 at age 77, playing an exaggerated version of himself, booming voice, oddball charm, and a hint of self-deprecation. But behind the legend of Darth Vader lay decades of emotional turmoil. Jones was famously mute as a child due to a traumatic upbringing marked by abandonment. His father, actor Robert Earl Jones, left when he was young, returning decades later in an awkward Hollywood reunion riddled with bitterness. Though revered, he battled alcoholism quietly during the 1970s and reportedly clashed with producers over money and credit, especially in his uncredited Star Wars work. Rumors lingered about tensions with co-stars who found his reclusive habits unsettling. He rarely socialized and insisted on speaking only through intermediaries on some sets. Despite public adoration, Jones led a lonely, guarded life in his later years. He died on September 9, 2024, at the age of 93, after a long, private battle with multiple health complications. Steve Lawrence, born July 8, 1935, made a nostalgic appearance in 2.5 Men in 2014 at age 79, exuding the polished charm of a bygone Vegas crooner. But beneath the tuxedos and smiles, Lawrence's life was laced with quiet grief and controversy. His marriage to Adie Gorm was celebrated on stage, but off it, rumors circulated of infidelity and professional jealousy, especially as her career began to outshine his in the late 70s. Insiders claimed Steve gambled heavily and once owed substantial debts to mob-connected figures during his Vegas years, a threat that allegedly led to panic attacks and canceled tours. Behind the scenes, his perfectionism morphed into tyranny. Backup singers were often reduced to tears, and recording sessions dragged on for hours due to his obsessive standards. His battle with Alzheimer's was long hidden from the public. Insiders revealed he had shown signs even during his 2.5 Men appearance, missing cues and forgetting lines. He died on March 7, 2024, at age 88 from Alzheimer's-related complications. Gary Marshall, born November 13, 1934, played a version of himself on 2.5 Men in 2014 at age 80, delivering one-liners with signature geniality. But the image of the jovial TV godfather masked deep fissures. His career, while glittering, had moments of scandalous oversight. Female writers often criticized his boys' club production culture on shows like Happy Days, with one lawsuit alleging gender discrimination in his writer's room. Friends recalled his obsessive need to control scripts down to the comma, often rewriting others' dialogue without credit. There were whispers that his relationship with his famous sister, Penny Marshall, was more strained than fans knew, marked by periods of icy silence over creative disagreements. Gary was once hospitalized after a nervous breakdown in the early 1980s, following the flop of Young Doctors in Love, though it was kept out of the press. He died on July 19, 2016, at age 81 due to complications from pneumonia after a stroke, quietly taking his secrets with him. Who is your favorite character in 2.5 Men? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.